Yes, Peter. Good morning. We had done the last topic of the first chapter in the morning today in the first class. What was that topic?
Taxonomical aids.
Yes, Peter. It is taxonomical aids. Very good. Yes, Peter, we are going to start with a new chapter. Okay. Did I post that notes for you people?
No, ma'am.
Cell chapter?
No, ma'am.
Not posted, no? Cell, I'll do one thing before I forget. I'm posting now only. Otherwise, I'll again forget. You want me to post the notes for Living World? The ones we did just now today? What all you want, I'll just post it on the groups. Otherwise, I'll again forget. By the time these children are
Yes, ma'am.
joining, yes, by the time they're joining, I'll post. Living World, I'm posting first. Both the PDFs first on Living World on your group. Okay, received? Just open the PDF once and check. Is it Living World only?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, by the time these students are joining, let me go because then I'll again forget. Question answers now you have to do for which chapter? I told you, beta.
Mineral nutrition.
Yes, beta. Start doing for cell or mineral nutrition, whatever second chapter. There are 4 chapters completed. Sooner the better for you. It's better you finish it soon. Transport in plants, I think was already done.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll post mineral nutrition PDF also for you. Mineral nutrition, did I post earlier?
Yes, ma'am. You have posted it.
Yes,
Fine.
ma'am.
Okay, beta. Good, good. If we have done it, it's okay. Cell we have already done. I'll post some handmade notes of cell today. Taxonomic aids, this is already done. We'll be taking up the unit of human physiology today. Cell, I'm trying to find, but I'll just post it now. I'm not able to find as of now. Let's start. What is the name of the chapter? Breathing and exchange of gases. Okay, beta. What is the name of the chapter? Quickly, speed up now.
Breathing and
Yes.
exchange of gases.
Yes, beta. Breathing and exchange of gases. Commonly, what is it called?
Respiration.
Respiration.
You know that commonly it is called as respiration only. Breathing and exchange of gases. It is a anabolic process or a catabolic process?
Catabolic.
Catabolic process.
What do you mean by catabolic? Let's do it very quickly. What is a catabolic process? Anabolism and catabolism. There are 2 words. What is the difference between anabolic and catabolic? Quickly, beta.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. Tell me quickly, what is this catabolic process? Listen carefully. When some big thing breaks down into smaller things, the process is catabolism. Okay, large molecules breaking down into smaller molecules, the process is catabolism. And when small things combine to make a bigger molecule, it is known as anabolism. So respiration is anabolic process or catabolic process?
Catabolic process. Catabolic
Remember, it's a
process.
catabolic process in which, very good, bigger and complex molecules will break down into smaller and simple molecules. So the first thing we all need to remember about respiration is that it is a catabolic process. There are 2 kinds of respiration that we have. Aerobic respiration means respiration which takes place in the presence of
Oxygen.
Oxygen.
Oxygen. Such organisms which breathe in the presence of oxygen or which have aerobic mode of respiration are called aerobes. What are they called?
Aerobes.
Aerobe.
There are certain others which the respiration takes place. I mean, the breaking down of complex molecules into simple molecules, that is the catabolic process, take place in the presence of absence of oxygen. Then this mode of respiration is known as?
Anaerobic.
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 These organisms are called aerobes. And what are these organisms called as?
Anaerobes. Anaerobe.
This takes place in the cells of organisms. Okay, cells. But this takes place in the cytoplasm. Anaerobic respiration takes place where?
In the cytoplasm.
In the cytoplasm.
In cytoplasm.
This was the first one. Earlier we had anaerobes only. Aerobes came later. So this is the primitive atmosphere. First we had anaerobic respiration only. Later we have a record or history of aerobic respiration. Before I go further, very quickly, respiration is which kind of a process? Anabolic or catabolic?
Catabolic.
Process.
That means bigger molecules are breaking into smaller ones, or smaller are combining to become bigger?
Bigger molecules are breaking into smaller and smaller.
Smaller.
We have two modes of respiration. Name them.
Aerobic and anaerobic.
Respiration and anaerobic.
The respiration which takes place in the cells in the presence of oxygen is called?
Aerobic.
Aerobic respiration.
And such kind of organisms are known as?
Aerobes.
That which takes place in the absence of oxygen in the cytoplasm. What is it called?
Anaerobic.
Respiration.
Great. Okay. Anaerobic. And these organisms are known as?
Anaerobes.
Anaerobe.
Okay. Which appeared first? Anaerobes or aerobes?
Anaerobe.
Respiratory organs. Different organisms have different kind of respiratory organs. Sponges, cnidarians, platyhelminthes, and all free-living roundworms. I mean, I'm talking about all very, very small organisms. They do not have any specific organs for respiration. The process is simple diffusion. Across the body surface, what will happen? Some substance will enter and some will go out by the process of diffusion. We all know from higher concentration to?
Lower concentration.
No organs are there. Simply from the surface membrane, the gas exchange takes place. Now come to these earthworms. They breathe through the cuticle. What is cuticle?
Ma'am, outer the
Yes, beta, the outer membrane. All the aquatic arthropods, all the arthropods which live in water, the mollusks, the fishes, they all breathe through? Yes. Insects breathe through?
Spiracles.
Spiracles. And all the terrestrial animals, the land animals, breathe through?
Lungs.
lungs.
Yes. So we've taken 5 examples to show that there's so much of variety of respiratory organs. Small organisms like sponges and roundworms, they do not have any specific organs. Gaseous exchange takes place through? Which process? Name the respiratory organ of earthworms. Beta, please answer.
Cuticle.
Yes. Insects?
Spiracles.
Yes, Pichi. Let's move on to aquatic organisms.
Gills.
Yes, there's gills, and for terrestrial animals, it is mainly
Lungs.
Now, specifically move on to human respiratory system. We are going to study the human respiratory system into 2 categories: conduction of gases and respiratory exchange of gases. See data, conduction of gases. Passage for air. Okay, the air passage has to be cleaned. Okay, how it is cleaned? All the foreign particles are removed, number 1. Humidified. Humidified means what is added? What is added? Some amount of humidity, some amount of water has to be present. Number 3, it has to be brought to the normal temperature of the body. These three things have to be done before gases are conducted, before exchange of gases takes place. Supposing you buy something and supposing you buy a computer for yourself. So you need a place for it. You'll arrange, okay, this is my study table here, I'm going to keep it. Then you need something to keep those pads for your mouse, all those arrangements which you do before you bring your laptop or computer. Similarly, before the gases start entering the human body, the passage of the gases is made ready. What all three things are done, children? First, what is removed from the passage?
Foreign particles are removed.
Foreign particles.
We'll study how all this is done, because then these foreign particles will enter the body only. Then humidified. The air which is going to be entering will be made humid. Some kind of moisture will be added. And what? The air has to be brought to what temperature? What preparations are we doing?
Body temperature.
Yes, beta. Remember, all these three things will be done for conduction of gases. Okay, remember this. Here, gaseous exchange is not taking place. Before the gaseous exchange has started, we are preparing all this. So when the passage of air is there and gaseous exchange is not taking place, that time that space is known as dead air space. What is it called?
Dead air space.
Dead air space.
Air space. So we are going to prepare ourselves. What I'm trying to say is the respiratory tract with the help of the nose and the nostrils all together are going to prepare for the gaseous exchange of gases. Tell me very quickly, beta, what is the first thing which will be done for preparation?
Removal of foreign particles.
Very good. Removal of foreign particles. Second thing, what has to be ensured before exchange starts?
Addition of humidity.
Yes, it is made humid. Very good. And the third thing? Beta, I'm going so slow. Still, I'm not getting response. Answers are not coming up. Tell me, what is the third thing which has to be done?
It should be brought to body temperature.
Yes, beta, it has to be brought to body temperature. Now let us study how this is going to happen. We all know external nares, that is nostrils. We have pair of slits at the lower end of the nose. Slits means holes. They open into the nasal chamber through the nasal passage. The first thing which is going to help us in the conduction of gases is nostrils. What is going to help us?
Nostrils.
They are small holes or slits. They open into the nasal chamber, the cavity, the pipe that we have, where the holes finish. That pipe is known as nasal chamber. Okay. What is nasal chamber? Pair of passage at the back of the nostrils. Just where these holes finish, the nostrils, we have a passage. So each nostril will have one passage. So how many passages? Two passages. Because we have got two nostrils, two slits. So the place where the hole or the nostril finishes, from there we have a passage which is known as nasal chamber. What is it called?
Nasal
chamber.
chamber.
So how many nasal chambers?
Two.
Yes. Apart from nostrils, nasal chambers, what else is there? We have the walls of the trachea, bronchi, bronchitis. All these walls of your windpipe, trachea, we'll further study with the help of a diagram over here. What are bronchi, bronchioles? I'll just be telling you. So trachea further dividing into bronchi, smaller tubes, and they further divided into even smaller tubes, which we have at the end, bronchioles. Remember that they are all made up of fibromuscular tissue. Which tissue?
Fibromuscular tissue.
Muscular tissue.
The special property of this tissue is that it is a very flexible tissue. Very easy to contract and relax. That is the special thing. That the walls, they're not very rigid. The walls are not very rigid, beta. They are made up of a softer, flexible tissue. Which tissue is this?
Fibromuscular tissue.
Fibromuscular tissue.
Okay, we have talked about the external openings which were known as
Nostrils. Nostrils.
yes. Then we had those pipe-like structures behind the nostril. What were they called?
Nasal
chambers.
passages.
Nasal chambers.
How many nasal chambers?
Two.
We're talking about some special tissue which makes the walls of the trachea and the bronchi. What are these tissues called as?
Fibromuscular tissue.
Fibromuscular
tissue.
Fine. Now, and they're lined up. They are covered by pseudostratified ciliated columnar epithelium. The epithelium of these walls, trachea, bronchi, bronchioles, it is columnar epithelium. In class 9, you must have done column-shaped cells. Ciliated means they have cilia on the surface, and pseudostratified. Stratified means having those alternate light and dark bands. But here it is pseudo-stratified, nakli wala. Lagta hai ki hai, but asli mein nahi hota hai. So break this word pseudo-stratified. Stratified is having those alternate dark and light bands, but this is pseudo. That means it appears to be stratified, but it is not actually stratified. It has cilia on its surface. And what is the shape? Which kind of epithelium is this?
Columnar.
Columnar epithelium. So all these trachea, bronchi, bronchioles, they are covered by this kind of an epithelium. Why this kind of epithelium is present, understand, because this kind of epithelium is very rich in mucus secreting cells. This epithelium contains cells which secrete what?
Mucus.
Mucus. Now we have another thing, cartilaginous rings. They support the trachea and bronchi. Cartilaginous rings, they are going to support the trachea and the bronchi. Why do we have these rings? I think in class 9, 10th you must have done. Why do we have these rings?
Trachea does not collapse.
Very good. So
So
that the
that
trachea does not collapse. Even when there is no air in it, it will not collapse. Very good. Okay, now see. Lungs, let's talk about lungs. If you see, they're triangular bags. Do they look roughly like triangle?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
How
ma'am.
many,
Yes, ma'am.
how many lungs?
Two.
Yes, beta, they're roughly what? What is the shape?
Triangular.
Triangle.
Triangle.
Gaseous. Very good. Gaseous exchange is going to take place here. Let us do this. We'll go into details. You know that this lower surface is called as?
Diaphragm.
Diaphragm.
Yes, this is your diaphragm. Okay, remember this is your diaphragm. These are the membranes and all this. We'll go into details of this. This is your trachea over here. And what are these rings?
Cartilaginous rings.
Please remember, cartilaginous rings. Okay, see this. This is your trachea. Further dividing into what? Bronchi. And here, these smaller ones are what we call as?
Bronchioles.
Bronchiole.
Bronchiole.
And these bag-like structures at the end, what are they called?
Alveoli.
Alveole.
They are called alveoli. Very, very good. So this actually divides into two structures, bronchus, bronchi, bronchus, and then you've got bronchioles. I'll go in detail about the diagram again. Don't worry. Lungs lie in the thoracic cavity. Okay, where do they lie?
Thoracic cavity.
Thoracic cavity.
See, the entire middle part of the human body is divided into two areas. The upper part is called thoracic cavity and the lower part is called the abdominal cavity. Okay, the upper part till the ribs and the chest area, that is your thoracic cavity, and the lower than that is your abdominal cavity. So lungs lie where? The upper part, that is thoracic cavity, or the lower part, abdominal cavity?
Upper part thoracic
Thoracic
cavity.
Thoracic cavity.
Now let us talk about its anatomical position, exactly what it is. It is enclosed, it is surrounded by dorsally the thoracic vertebrae, laterally by the ribs, ventrally by the sternum, and below by diaphragm. We'll understand this with the help of the figure above. What do you mean by dorsal? Dorsal side, ventral side. You must have come across these words many times in 9th and 10th in biology also. Dorsal side, ventral side. What do you mean by dorsal? Beta, dorsal and ventral in biology, very common. Dorsal word means what? Back side or the upper side. Please remember, back side or the upper side. Is it clear for everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Many times we see a diagram, we see it's written dorsal view or ventral view, something like that. Okay. There's another word you come across, that is ventral side. It means the front or the lower side. Tell me very quickly, what does the word ventral mean? Which side?
Front side.
Yes, front and the lower side. Basically front, and the dorsal means?
Back
Back
side.
side.
Okay. So if we see dorsally around the lungs, you will have the thoracic vertebrae. Laterally, it is surrounded by ribs. If you know ribs over here. Ventrally, it is surrounded by the sternum. What did the word ventral mean?
Front side.
Yes,
Side.
front side. So it is surrounded by the sternum. I'll be giving a more appropriate diagram. And below what do you have over here?
Diaphragm.
Yes,
Diaphragm.
this is your diaphragm. So you're basically talking about the position of the lungs over here, anatomical position of the lungs. Dorsally surrounded by?
Thoracic vertebrae.
Thoracic vertebrae.
Laterally surrounded by?
Ribs.
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 Okay, ventrally by?
Sternum.
Sternum.
And what is there below?
Diaphragm.
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 It is diaphragm. Okay, beta. So just remember, this is the position. When we talk about the lungs, we are talking about lungs. Any change in the volume of the thoracic cavity? The other name for thoracic cavity is called pulmonary cavity. We said lungs are situated in which cavity?
Thoracic cavity.
Thoracic or abdomen?
Thoracic.
Thoracic cavity.
Okay. This cavity is also known as pulmonary cavity. The other name for thoracic cavity is?
Pulmonary
Pulmonary
cavity.
Pulmonary cavity.
Now let's go back and see. Each lung is enclosed by two membranes which are called pleura. Membranes, if you can see over here, this is your lung, protected by two membranes. What is the name of these two membranes together? What do we call them as? Pleura.
Pleura.
What are these membranes called, children?
Pleura.
Yes.
Pleura.
The inner membrane is called visceral pleuron and the outer membrane is called parietal pleuron. Let's go back and see here. See, this is the inner one. Inner one. Can you see the inner one? These are the two membranes that we have surrounding the lungs. This is the inner one, which is known as?
Visceral pleura.
Yes. And this is the outer one. Outer one is known as?
Parietal pleura.
Parietal pleura. And both of them together, of course, we call them as pleura. So your lungs are surrounded by how many membranes?
Two.
Membranes.
Two membranes. Together they are called?
Pleura.
Pleura. The inner
Pleura.
one is called? Very good. The inner one is called?
Visceral pleuron.
And the outer one is called?
Parietal pleura.
Yes. There is very little space between these two pleura. See over here. This is the inner pleura. This is the outer pleura. Between them, there is very little space. Exactly if you see the cursor over here. Very little space between these two pleura. This is known as pleural cavity. What is this area known as?
Pleural cavity.
Yes, Peter. See this? Now this pleura, they secrete a fluid which is known as pleural fluid. Can you see this word over here? Pleural fluid. Inside this cavity, no, the space that we have between pleura, there is a fluid which is filled. What is that fluid called?
Pleural fluid.
Pleural fluid. And why do we have this pleural fluid? It reduces friction on the surface of the lungs. Okay, basically for preventing it from damage so that it doesn't get damaged by friction on the surface. So let me go back very quickly to you. This was your lungs surrounded by how many membranes? Children, please speak out. 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, how many?
2 membranes.
Two membranes.
The inner one is known as?
Visceral pleura.
Visceral.
Boys, there is no response, no answers. The outer one is known as?
Parietal.
There is some space between the two membranes which is known as?
Pleural cavity.
Pleural cavity is filled with a fluid which is known as?
Pleural fluid.
Pleural fluid.
Yes, pleural fluid. Is it okay? It protects the lungs. Basically, the function is to protect the lungs. Now let's go to the left lung. See over here. This is the right lung. This is the left lung. Right, left. We are going to just study a bit about the left lung. It has 2 lobes. Please see over here. 2 lobes, 2 parts. Okay. Superior lobe and inferior lobes. What are these lobes called as?
Superior lobe and inferior lobe.
And these 2 lobes are separated by an oblique fissure. Please see, this is what we call as an oblique fissure. Can you see this line?
Yes, ma'am.
See, beta, this is an oblique fissure. Teda wala separation. Fissure means a partition and oblique matlab teda. Is it okay? So left lung is divided into how many lobes?
2 lobes.
2 lobes. What are they called? The upper lobe is called as the superior lobe and the lower lobe is known as?
Inferior lobe.
Separated by which fissure?
Oblique fissure.
Oblique fissure. Oblique means straight line or curved, slanted line?
Slanted line.
Okay. Now see, beta, cardiac notch, concave cavity, the heart lies over here. If you see this is larger. Let me first tell you both the differences, then I'll explain. Right lung. The right lung is bigger than which one? Which lung?
Left lung.
Yes. The superior, middle, and inferior lobes. Here, because it is bigger in size, we have 3 divisions of the lobes. What are they? Superior lobe, which is next?
Middle lobe.
Yes. And the third is?
Inferior lobe.
Since we have 3 here, we have 2 kind of fissures over here. They have to be separated by each other. One is a horizontal fissure and the other is an oblique fissure. Okay. The middle and the inferior one. The middle lobe and the inferior lobe are separated by a horizontal fissure. Superior and middle are separated by an oblique fissure. But the middle and inferior are separated by which kind of a fissure?
Oblique fissure.
Nee beta, idhar dekho. Look at this. The bigger and the superior and the middle are separated by this fissure. Which kind of a fissure? You can make a line over here to remember. Oblique fissure. But the middle and the inferior ones are separated by which kind of a fissure?
Horizontal fissure.
Horizontal. When I say horizontal fissure, I mean this kind of a line. Horizontal line. like you have in your copy over here. This is a horizontal fissure. So how many fissures we had in left lung?
1.
1. Because we had how many lobes in the left lung?
2.
2.
Which were the 2 lobes?
Superior lobe and inferior lobe.
Yes. When we move on to the right lung, we said it is comparatively bigger. Bigger than which lung?
Left lung.
Left
Yes.
lung.
How many lobes are there?
3 lobes.
3.
Name the lobes.
Superior,
Superior,
middle,
middle and inferior lobe.
And how many fissures are there? How many fissures are there?
and 2.
2 fissures.
The superior and the middle lobes are separated by
Oblique fissure.
oblique fissure. Okay. And the middle and the inferior ones are separated by which fissures?
Horizontal fissure.
Yes, beta. See this. This is which fissure?
Oblique fissure.
Oblique fissure.
Okay. And the line that you can see, which is like the notebook of your line, what is this fissure called as?
Horizontal
Horizontal
fissure.
fissure.
Horizontal fissure. So, beta, which lung is comparatively greater in size? Left or right?
Right.
Right.
Which one has more number of lobes?
Right.
Right.
How many lobes are there?
3.
3.
One more thing which you should remember, that all the alveoli over here. Okay, if you can see, these are the alveoli. At the end, you can see these bag-like structures where exchange of gas actually takes place, alveoli. They are surrounded by a substance. Okay, this part you should remember. As of now, I'm just taking up the main things. Lecithin. What surrounds the alveoli?
Lecithin.
Lecithin.
This substance lowers the surface tension, so exchange of gases can take place very easily over here. All the exchange of gases actually takes place here only, whether it comes or it goes out. This is the site of exchange, alveoli, these small bag-like structures that you see. To make them more flexible, reduce the tension between them, they are all surrounded and they are covered by which substance? Film of what?
Lecithin.
Lecithin. Is it okay for everybody?
Yes, ma'am.
Let me have a bit revision of the structure a little bit and then we'll go. Human respiratory system we were talking about. Let's talk about this from here first. We started with the external nostrils, which extend up to pipe-like structures, which are known as what chambers?
Nasal chambers.
Nasal chambers.
The walls of the trachea, bronchi, bronchioles are made up of which tissue to make them flexible?
Fibromuscular.
Fibromuscles.
The epithelium of all of these contains cells which secrete.
Mucus.
Mucus.
The trachea has rings on its surface. Like here, if you can see rings on the trachea. What are these rings called?
Cartilaginous rings.
Cartilage.
Yeah. And you already told me that they prevent them trachea from collapsing. Okay. Now we come to this rough shape of lungs. Roughly, what is the shape?
Triangle.
Triangle.
This triangular. Situated in which cavity? Upper thoracic or lower abdomen?
Upper thorax.
Upper thoracic.
Also called as which cavity?
Pulmonary cavity.
Pulmonary cavity.
Each lung is enclosed by how many membranes?
2 membranes.
The inner membrane is called, together they are called pleura. And the inner membrane is called,
Distal pleura.
Visceral pleuron.
the outer one is called,
Parietal pleura.
Parietal pleuron.
the little space between these pleuras is known as
Pleural cavity.
Pleural
Very-
cavity.
pleural cavity. A fluid which is filled inside the pleural cavity is,
Pleural
Pleural.
fluid.
yes, it helps the protection from the lungs. Basically, the main function is protection on the pleural fluid. Then we compared the left lung and the right lung. Right lung, left lung. Which one is larger?
Right.
Right.
See, Over here also, if you observe very carefully, you will see that the right lung is larger compared to the left lung. Left lung has which kind of a fissure?
Oblique.
Oblique fissure. If I draw a fissure, I would have drawn it like this, which would divide the lung into how many lobes?
2 lobes.
2 lobes. The superior lobe and the
Inferior lobe.
anterior lobe. Here I will have 2 fissures. First, let me talk about 3 lobes. Which is this lobe? Upper one?
Superior.
Superior.
This would be the,
Middle lobe.
and this would be the,
Inferior lobe.
Inferior lobe.
which kind of a fissure between the superior and the middle lobe of the right lung?
Oblique fissure.
So I would have something like this. And then I'll have another fissure over here between the middle one and the lower one. Which kind of a fissure it would be?
Horizontal.
So 3 fissures here, 2 fissures here, 2 lobes here, 3 lobes here. Which one is larger? Right or left?
Right.
Okay. All the alveoli, they are surrounded by a film of
Lecithin.
Lecithin.
which kind of a fissure is this? This one?
Oblique fissure.
Good. And which kind of a fissure is this?
Horizontal.
Horizontal. It's very simple. I'll start from breathing tomorrow. I'm just taking up these steps first. There are 3 main steps of respiration. The details I'll go tomorrow. First step is breathing. Breathing, you know only. What is it? Taking inside oxygen and giving out what?
Carbon dioxide.
Second is your exchange of gases. This will take place across tissues and the alveoli. And the third is the transport of gases. Who will do this transport?
Blood.
Different steps in each of them I'll be taking up tomorrow, but first let's have this. The entire respiration process is divided into 3 steps. First step is,
Breathing.
which means the taking in of which gas?
Oxygen.
Yes, beta. And giving out of which gas?
Carbon dioxide.
So we generally write it in short: inflow of oxygen and outflow of.
Carbon dioxide.
CO2.
So this is exchange between the outer environment and the human body. After it has reached inside the human body, it is again exchanged across the tissues and the alveoli. This is what we call as, what is the heading we give for this?
Exchange of gases.
And then these gases will be transported all over the body. Who is going to transport it?
Blood.
So very quickly, can I just have the headings? What are the 3 major steps in the respiration process in humans?
Breathing, exchange of gases, and transport of gases.
Okay. When we say breathing, beta, what do we mean?
Intake of oxygen and
And out carbon.
exhaling carbon dioxide.
Very, very good. Very good. What is the second step and what does it mean?
Exchange of gases.
Exchange of gases. And exchange of gases basically takes place where?
Across
Alveolar.
the tissues and alveolar membrane.
Yes, beta. And the last one is what?
Transport of gases.
Transport of gases. The gases are transported to the entire part of all the parts of the body. And who is going to take these gases to all the parts?
Blood.
Yes, blood is going to take it to all the parts now. So we are going to divide the entire process of respiration